Hello ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who do not know, my name is Emily Sophia, and I'm going to break it down for you, the lovely listener, via this vlog / public service announcement, the many reasons why you need to get your butt to the theater and see you some Thor: The Dark World, okay? So, there will be a few spoilers ahead, but first and foremost, I will give you my impressions, just generally how I emotionally, psychologically, spiritually interacted with the film. So, let me first just say that this film, it's got guts, it's got range, it has got outrageousness on every level, and it by far shows up its predecessor in vivid colors. You know, people have come to thoroughly respect, if they did not previously, Marvel films, especially on the grounds of the Avengers film and what Joss Whedon did to just, you know, supercharge an already electrifying universe of characters. And by far, the sequels to the previous films, which led up to the Avengers, I mean, we need to give the people behind this madness a big freaking piece of cake. And by a piece of cake, I mean, you know, like a slice the size of the state of New York. Like, let's give these people a hand, because this film was astonishing on every level that I could have desired. I laughed, I cried, you know, there was much emoting on my part, and for me that is a sign of a good film, when I am just forced to react on every single level with what is happening on the screen, and it just rocks me inside. So I mean, rock me like a hurricane, Marvel. That you did tonight, wink. Yeah, so basically it was marvelous. I keep saying, oh, stupid puns, beware, because there might be more. There's just no telling what's coming right now, okay? There's just no way of knowing. I'm gonna say it right here. Yeah, so the film, you know, the movie takes place, it's in Asgard. It is in every possible universe, I mean, to infinity and beyond, like, from the world to the furthest reaches of outer space. And just the visuals are gorgeous. The set design and just the way that they incorporate, you know, CGI and special effects and everything into, you know, grounding it in the various universes in which everything takes place. It's really quite beautiful. It's an exhilarating ride visually. The action is freaking marvelous. I mean, I said it again. God, that word has just become insidious. It's just like, it just seems so circular. Marvel is marvelous. I mean, okay. You know, I apologize. Yeah, but it's just freaking, it is a well-balanced movie. You will be freaking the crap out one moment, I mean, about to lose your pants, and possibly any other number of things. There's just no way of knowing. And then the next moment you will be laughing your lungs out, and then you'll have to suck them back in really fast, because you're gonna get thrown into another vortex of crazy action. And yet, you know, it's so well balanced. That for me is what kept me really attached to the films. Like seeing movies like, you know, Man of Steel, I liked Man of Steel in a lot of ways, but like the final hour of it was just this sheer, like, sensory overload of the freaking death battle that pretty much ravages the universe, and then somehow we're supposed to come back from that, you know. So Thor was very much balanced in terms of, you know, focus on characters and the different conflicts going on, and conflicts within conflicts, and, you know, deceits within deceits. It's nice and complex and fun, and there's a lot to look at. So I'm just gonna tell you, if you ain't seen it, then you are missing out. I'm pretty sure that they should criminalize not seeing it. So, you know, don't be one of those types. Don't make me send the police after you, because you need to be on this level. We need to be in this experience together, okay? So, without further ado, now we are going to dive into the land of spoilers as I kind of walk you through my favorite aspects of the film and what I most enjoyed. So first of all, I just have to say I loved the humor of the film. I mean, they kept it fun and fresh. Like, you know, everything from the intern Darcy, you know, she is just flawlessly ditzy in a way that is more endearing than it is like, you know, nails on the chalkboard of your soul. Like, it's heartwarming on some level. She's great. And then, you know, like the intern who has the intern, that relationship kind of reminded me actually of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which has been that new ABC series of which Joss Whedon has been a part, and I've been keeping up with that this season too. So I mean, that kind of made me think of the two doctors in the show, Fitzsimmons, basically. That's what it sort of made me think of, except, you know, Darcy is very much a different character, and I just love, you know, the different comedic elements that she presents as much as ever. I could go on and on. I mean, whether she's like, you know, stealing people's shoes to send it flying through some infinite portal, or, you know, what have you. She's just, and every moment with her just culminates in a what the hell. You know, she's living in this impossible universe, and she's consciously, you know, constantly aware of just how impossible it is. And that, to me, it's just hilarious to watch unfold. And then, of course, we have, you know, the doctor, is it Richard? Is that his name? Or Rick? You know, our names. Something to that effect. Or as I call Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead, Nicolas Cage. We'll go with something along those lines. And just, you know, the mad, brilliant scientist ever in search of his pants, or perhaps, you know, ever in rebellion against his pants, okay? And that was just, you know, a very endearing character to watch unfold on the screen, and, you know, the infinite boastfulness of Thor and his just, you know, his sort of sense of his own, like, I am stunningly cut and sexy. You know, it's like he seems on some level aware of that, and yet he's so in his own zone and culture. So it's this whole, like, you know, the fish out of water experience whenever he's on Earth, and just the different moments that we have with him. And I adored Stan Lee's charming little cameo when we've got the doctor is, you know, teaching a class with the crazies, and he also has a proclivity for stealing shoes. I mean, I definitely felt a little bit insecure about my footwear watching this movie, but, and, you know, Stan Lee at the end of it is just, you know, after the doctor's like, any questions about his exhilarating little lecture in the world of the impossible? Stan Lee is just like, yeah, can I have my shoe back? I mean, it was that flawless moment, and that's just one of the little things that you live for and get to look forward to in every Marvel movie. Just that little cherry on top of the beautiful ice cream sundae that is the Marvel hero film. And of course, last but not least, there's much to be said of the darling, dastardly devilish Loki, who just, his character and the way that he was fleshed out truly made the movie for me. It was just tremendous, the scope of Loki's character and that comedic element. I mean, he's sort of like the Joker, you know, and Asgard is his Gotham City, and, you know, even occasionally sometimes our dear little planet Earth, you know, gets to be graced by his special brand of mayhem. But the scene where, you know, school's out, scream and shout, he's out of the prison, his brother has so graciously, if not mistrustingly, let the bird out of his cage to, you know, wreak some necessary havoc together, and as Thor is trying to be very forbearing with the release of the trickster god, and that whole scene of, you know, him walking down the hallway, constantly shape-shifting and, you know, playing with all his deceits and trickery. And when he freaking goes full Captain America, that was, I died. I definitely pulled an Agent Coulson, and I died, and I came back. I might be a robot. I can't exactly tell. But at that point, there was just, my heart stopped. He was just dancing around. I mean, somebody give Chris Evans a round of applause. He too needs to share in that New York size piece of pie. Okay, because that was a win. That was an absolute win. I'm done. Good night. Life is made. I never knew that I needed that moment to happen, but it happened, and I feel self-actualized as a result. So I thank you for that, writers, everyone who's behind that. And of course Tom Hiddleston for so ridiculously just relishing every moment that he is Loki. The two of them are one, and the way that Tom portrays him is just astronomical. Okay, and so I need to depart from the subject of humor and go into the fact that one of the reasons why I love this movie so much was because of what was done with Loki, and the fact that we did in fact get him back by the end. You know, it's, guess who's back? The real Slim Shady has stood up, and he's now kind of sort of king of Asgard? Question mark? Exclamation point? Head scratch? I mean, there's a lot to discuss, but I knew somewhere, you know, in the bowels of my heart, I knew that he was coming back, because his death was so unceremonious. I mean, even compared to the death of Thor's freaking badass mother, who, you know, she died a saint and she was sent out in vivid colors, and just the whole procession, that scene was incredibly artistic. Kind of reminded me of Star Wars with, you know, the burning of the body, but then also in going over the cliff, but still suspended over the water. You know, it was just, that was freaking cool. So she gets this whole parade, whereas Loki is kind of, you know, enveloped in the oblivion as Thor loses him for that last time, and, you know, it's like everything that he's done in that moment when he's like, you know, it wasn't for him, ... There was a certain lack of resolve because things were left so quickly. I mean, all of a sudden Thor and Jane are in the cave, and I'm just like, why are we not like burying ourselves in the abyss? Because we just lost one of the coolest like anti-hero villains of all time. And yeah, so basically there just was not enough ceremonious to his loss to warrant me feeling like he was actually gone. So that I still had that hope throughout. That was kind of even distracting me in the final epic, you know, interdimensional portal insanity battles. Like, I still was just like, come on, Loki, we are waiting for you. I mean, you've been dead long enough now. Come on back to us, honey. And that he did. And what was just incredible was not only the way that his deceits were used to kind of produce this comedic effect, but they were also used to produce a vision of the tragedy of Loki. I mean, Thor is great and all, and about as rippling as any one person can possibly be, but the fact of the matter is that we really know all that there is to know about Thor's character. And Jane was kind of used as a means of exposing a vulnerability in Thor, because he's just not that vulnerable of a guy. You know, like, he's still coming into his shoes, like trying to figure out who exactly he is. I mean, there's that sort of existential crisis at times, but he's relatively self-assured, except when it comes to his relationship to Padme. But, you know, don't tell Anakin. But, yeah. So, whereas we get Loki, and he is just the most disenfranchised, I mean, through the floor. he has, you know, burdened with this glorious purpose as he is, he has nothing, and yet he has at the same time the opportunity to have everything, to have a family whom he spurns time and time again because he wants to feel like he is truly a part of it, and he's not just being catered to, and he's not, you know, just being given this faulty place. And you know, the scene that he shares with the you know, his holographic mother, and, you know, sort of her power that she exercises there. I mean, there is just such a poignant sense of tragedy about that. And when Thor comes down to the prison and we see, you know, Loki, like, he is strutting his tail feathers, you know, he's getting up in Thor's grill, he's fighting back like we would expect him to. But when that facade is just dropped, I mean, my soul just went through the trapdoor down into Hades. I mean, just the sheer contrast between, you know, who Loki can present himself to be and where he's really at after the death of his mother, and just after everything that has transpired and all the things that he has fought to stand against, to substantiate himself. You know, he's in the ruins of it all. He's in, you know, he's got this whole performance going on, but he's backstage, stripped down, you know, mascara smeared. I mean, it just punched me in the gut to see him like that, and I think that effect was so beautifully achieved. But he, you know, he bounces back with a vengeance, and just the sheer volatility of him being free, the whole act of treason that's committed, and the internal strife as this whole external thing is going on. And yeah, and we also see that, you know, Thor is very much like Captain America in that he has such an astute sense of justice, which starkly opposes that of his father's view, which is like, I'm gonna win this bitch. I mean, like, that's just the way that he approaches it, is like, I'm gonna win. Doesn't matter how many people get fed to the cannon fodder, so to speak. Like, I'm gonna win. This is my game. This is my jam. But I mean, then again, it is, you know, it is Hannibal Lecter that we're talking about here, Anthony Hopkins. So, I mean, you know, I don't think he's particularly afraid of making a few meals out of people to get his way, you know, to fill his appetite for winning. Yeah, but there's just the way that all the conflicts were drawn together into just this cataclysmic thing was so good. It was really satisfying to me, and I feel that a lot of things were explored very interestingly. Yeah, and then again, getting to see Thor and Loki and their relationship, and the way that Loki treats Jane. I mean, as the ether is torn from her, and as all the power is transferred to Malekith, I couldn't freaking tell ya. But in that instance, you know, as all of this is transpiring and this whole new battle begins, Loki is protecting the crap out of Jane. Like, he throws himself down on her, and just the look on his face, like, as, you know, when he looks up to see, like, you know, assessing the threat that's going on. And it's, again, just that sensitivity mixed with the volatility, and it just makes for such a stunning character. We literally never know what exactly is really up with him. We as an audience can't trust what we're seeing. Thor can't trust what he's seeing. And there's just this transference of distrust that makes things so exciting and scary. And admittedly, I definitely fell for the ruse of the whole, you know, Loki, Loki and Thori. Daw, that's just the cutest. But yeah, I mean, the whole deception with the arm cut off. I kept thinking about Star Wars during this movie and Lord of the Rings. I mean, I did find out, you know, the release date of Star Wars Episode 7 was released today, and there is just a lot of parallels I was drawing, so I was like, holy crap, that just happened. Like, this is a really bizarre parallel, you know, but, and then at that last split second when Thor's like, now, and it just all, I clapped to that, because you got me real good. At any rate, yeah, so, like, Loki was just such a focal point for me, and Tom Hiddleston is just, I've got words for that man and the things of which he is capable with this character, and he's back. He's back in some sense or another, and there's just no way of exactly knowing what that's gonna look like. But yeah, and then also I did stick around for the little sneak peek at the end of the movie, and to be honest, I don't know much, if really anything, about Guardians of the Galaxy, which, as I understand, the whole scene with the collector is related to that. Yeah, quite frankly, I don't know enough to tell you, you know, whether or not I'm excited about that. I do know that Chris Pratt is going to be a part of that movie, and he's quickly becoming one of my favorite actors. He's got such, just such a marvelous versatility, and, you know, in terms of his capacity for comedy and, you know, the drama and seriousness of everything, that makes me happy. But at any rate, yeah, so I don't know much about that film. I couldn't tell you. I mean, what do you guys think? Are you excited for that movie in particular? I mean, my expertise is really in the world of X-Men, and Days of Future Past is on its way, so, oh, God, just Thor: The Dark World was a brightening of my universe, and I love the crap out of it. I hope you did too. Feel free to leave your thoughts below in the comments, anything you want to hash out. I mean, again, I love the action, love the humor, and the drama of things. I think it was really well done. I was entertained to no end. And now I get to go attempt to write a couple of essays, and I have a feeling that the God of Thunder is going to end up working his way into that. So, enjoy, professors, because, yeah, worlds are about to collide. So thank you guys so much. I'll be back with another film review of some sort very soon. I'm also very excited for Captain America. This next film, The Winter Soldier, you know, that is going to be the springtime of my heart. I have a good feeling about that. So you guys take care. We'll nerd it out together in the comments, and I'll be back before you know it. Take care, guys.